Oh my goodness, my friends, welcome to another episode of Agents in the Trenches. And today we are going guerrilla style. You guys have been knowing that I've been talking about how do we take our marketing to a whole new level? How do we, outperform and become the most relevant that we could be when we are out there in the digital universe? And so in Agents in the Trenches, you know that it's the real raw realities of what happens in the real life of a realtor, a team leader, a broker, all the behind the scenes, because we all know that, out there in social media world, everything looks so perfect, but the reality is that there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that takes place, a lot of growth, a lot of challenges, a lot of hurdles. And today I am joined by someone that I care for so much, right? Someone that is near and dear to my heart, someone that I met several years ago and I've seen evolve into this rock star branding image, positioning, digital world queen, social media mogul, to someone that has really evolved in all the things that we all need to be doing. So I don't want to wait any longer. I want to bring her to the studio and let her say hi to the Agents in the Trenches world. How are you?
Hi, Lucy. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for that introduction. You're just a doll, and I'm so grateful for all these years of co creating with you and getting to know you and your business. And you're crushing it. So thank you for having me.
I'm getting goosebumps just hearing you because I know that when we first met in 2020, I think it was about 2020 or 2021, one of the two, I was just entering the new world of the next generation of real estate. You were stepping up into new roles in your life. I want you to tell our audience at Agents in the Trenches, we have a lot of people watching us in the replays, right? Who is Jenny Berger? Where did Jenny Berger come from? Where you've been, where you're going, and then we're just going to let this conversation unfold organically.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So I'm originally from Guatemala. So I was born in Guatemala, but I was raised in Southern California. Can you, am
Yes,
I?
I can hear you. I can hear you. Go ahead.
So I'm from Guatemala, but I was raised since I was 6 months old, a year old, in Los Angeles, California, and then from LA, I moved over to New York, and New York, I ended up in Florida. So the journey from in my real estate and marketing world is actually started in California. I was fresh out of high school, going into college, and I wanted to be a realtor, but I went into a real estate class and I met Rosie Rodriguez, which I don't know if you know Rosie. Do
Yes,
you?
I know Rosie. Yes.
So just so you know, like Rosie is part of my history. She's the reason why I know Veronica Figueroa.
Oh, wow.
And she connected me with Veronica almost like 15 years ago. But I was with Rosie like 20 plus years ago when she was with Keller Williams, taking her real estate class in college.
Wow.
And this is the crazy part. I go in there and I'm like, yeah, I want to do this open house and blah, blah, blah. People were like, you'd be great in real estate. And then I already had a graphic design background and a marketing background, just all of high school. My high school had a great graphic arts program. So I came out of there with a portfolio. And I wasn't sure if that's what I wanted to do. But when I went into real estate, the broker at the time said, you're going to be doing this $1.5 million open house. And I'm like, okay, great. Where's the marketing? Where's the collateral? Where's the flyer? And he's like, yeah, I'll Xerox the photo from the front and I'll give it to you so you can give it out. And I was like, this is unacceptable. Like, this house is stunning. So the broker at the time was like, can you do a better job? I was like, absolutely. So I came in there with my little Sony Cybershot,
Wow.
little tiny digital camera from back in the 2000s. And I photographed that whole listing and I made a 4-page spread of that house and ended up in an investor's desk, and that house sold from that marketing collateral. So I had Rosie calling like, who made this and who is she, and I need to meet her, and she has an office in my office now, like she's my marketing girl. And I was so young at the time, and that's kind of how Rosie and I, started working together. And then, I just I got bitten by the travel bug. So I really wanted to see the world. And even though it was awesome to be in there, I started working for Southwest Airlines. So at Southwest Airlines is where I got to kind of travel the world, and I opened up New York LaGuardia Station. And Rosie still stayed as my mentor, my friend, all these years. So when I told her, hey, I think New York has an expiration date for me, like, I think I want to move to Orlando, she was like, you need to meet Veronica Figueroa. She's an agent there. And this is like 15 years ago. And that's how I ended up with Veronica. So that whole real estate world, that marketing world, always kept coming back. Even while I was at Southwest Airlines, they were like, yeah, you're in customer service and operations, but you know what? You're really good at graphic design and marketing. Like, you want to run the culture committee? Like, I was a culture committee president, and just events and all that good stuff. So I got to learn a lot through the years, but I've always ended up back in real estate marketing.
Well, I want everybody that's watching us now to hit the share button, because we have to explode what we're going to be talking about today here at Agents in the Trenches, because we are in a total disruption when it comes to our marketing. You just talked about, the brokers saying, I'm going to make a Xerox copy of whatever, the picture, the flyer. And you know what? That's like back in the day, who would have thought that we were going to have to learn so much about marketing to really not blend in, right? And this is so appropriate because just this last week, I put on together at my Winners Wednesday Productivity Bootcamp, which was my community initiative to just be the solution to what we all know is going on. The market is, not as good as it used to be. Times are tough, everything that's going on, but it doesn't matter because those people that know how to sell will sell through anything, right? And so we launched the July business collaborative explosion. And I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get a realtor to adopt two businesses, and they're going to do open houses together, and they're going to add each other as collaborators on the posting, and then they're going to add me, and we're all going to explode our social media. And then you and I connect, and I'm like, how appropriate to have you, who has for years and years and years, I mean, let's break it down. You took on the mission of creating Veronica Figueroa's, right? Branding and marketing. And it was just like everybody would just sit there and drool over all this stuff. And here you were behind the scenes. Tell everybody how that came to pass.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been in Veronica's world for, 15 years. And, but, I've seen her go through all these different phases, and the team has evolved and all that good stuff. So during those 15 years, I worked for other tech companies and marketing. Curator was one of the most amazing experiences I've had, working with Chris Smith and Jimmy. And I just learned so much, right? So when I was ready, to make a change, Veronica had just come back to EXP, and she was busting at the seams. She was growing so rapidly, and she's like, I need a refresh. I need like to get all my stuff, all my ducks in a row, right? So she called me about 4.5 years ago, and she was just like, hey, what does it look like for you to be back full time? Like, just to reiterate that, I'm sorry, it was just to reiterate that the change that happened of like marketing was a commodity and like an extra plus thing. Now it's not, like, it's a non-negotiable,
It's a requirement.
It is a requirement.
If you're not a marketer, if you're not your own billboard, if you're not your own speaker of your house, right? Like advocating, if you don't become unapologetically, promoting yourself, then you don't exist. Nobody's going to find you.
Yeah, we used to think social media was maybe I'll get on. No, you have to do it now. Like, it is a full on requirement. So Veronica understood the assignment almost, when she started at EXP, she's like, I need a full on team. I need my COO, I need my CMO, I need my marketing to be on point. So I came back in and we refreshed the whole branding. We shortened the name of the Figueroa team to the Fig team. I'm like, most of the time people are butchering that beautiful last name. They don't know how to say it. I'm like, we're known for the fake team, and she paired it with family, innovation, and growth. And we made it like mean more. And it wasn't so much about their last name. It was about the mission and, just a bigger purpose. And so we came in and refreshed the whole brand. And then as soon as we did that, we went full into her personal brand. And I think that, leads us into this conversation of like, we used to hide behind these businesses and these big corporations, but now is the era of the full on personal brand. Like
Yes.
you have to be shining the light on your authenticity, especially now with AI. And nothing is real, right? I tell my dad and my aunt who are in their 60s, I'm like, guys, nothing is real. Stop sending me this. Stop believing everything because nothing is real. And that's also going to be a disservice to our generation because we don't take anything for, like for that face value or what the value that people bring. So now is the time that you should be showing up with your camera on and showing your real genuine value that you bring to the world. And Veronica was onto that 5 years ago.
I know.
She was all in on personal brand. And I think that she that's what makes her a visionary, is that she's like 10, 15 years in advance. Like she sees so far out. And we were following her, Rich, my husband, Rich is a videographer. We're like a power team. So we both were able to be in her world for all these years. We were following her to Vegas to Zillow Unlock conference. And she was the only realtor walking there with a whole entourage behind her, filming her. And they were like, who is this lady? Like, why does she have it was her reality show. That was it.
Yeah. I remember. We have a question here from one of the people that are connected, and it says, hi, Jenny, when it comes to building powerful connections, what's the difference between networking and actually becoming someone people refer and remember? Because I think a lot of people are blending in the networking scene. Like people are saying right now, oh, I got to network. I got to go to the events. But you may be in the right room, but what do you need to do to be remembered if you're in the right room?
Yeah. So, I mean, networking is extremely important. I think I value networking so much, but it's completely different. I think of it as this: if you're doing all the right things on social media and you're providing value with your social media, let's say your Instagram is your new business card, right? You're going to a networking event and you don't have to give out a business card. You get them to follow you because you just met each other for a few minutes. It was very surface level, but if you can bring them and invite them into your social media and say, hey, let's continue the relationship there. That's how you become from just knowing each other and acquaintances to, I mean, I have people who followed me for years and they're just like, I feel like I know you. And, they get to see me show up on my stories and my family. So networking is a great starting point because you're going to go make those relationships in person, or even if you see social media as networking too, because when you're posting great content, people are like, I want to get to know her or get to know him.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I want everybody that's watching, and there's more people joining. Thank you so much. Keep sharing this live because this is going to be a disruptive Agents in the Trenches. Like we need to break the barrier of the mental block that, oh, I don't like doing video. Oh, I don't really think anyone is watching me because nobody's giving me comments or likes. You just said Instagram is our new business card.
100%.
And I believe it because, guys, what do we do with business cards? Honestly, I'll tell you the truth. Once I put it in the database, I feel bad to throw it away. So I just put it in a little stack, but I never look at that stack again because I'm either working my database, right? Or I'm connecting with people on social media. What do you think is causing people to not step into that reality? You need to become someone on Instagram that others will want to follow, get to know, and eventually, hopefully, get to like.
Yes, yes. So I have to be 100% vulnerable here, Lucy. I hid behind my own social media. Like I've worked with Veronica all these years, and I'm a great behind the scenes person that I don't want to have videos out. I just want to do my thing. And on social media, I show up in stories, but I never used to post videos or informational content. I'm like, for what? Like, I'm good, right? And I'm like getting over myself so I could coach others because my job was just to make her look like a star, right? Or
Uh,
whoever I was working with. And I'm a great behind the scenes person, but now I've shifted my focus. So now I work at EXP Realty Corporate.
mhm.
I work behind some of the most amazing leaders, and I'm representing and helping shift the personal brands of Leo Pareja. I'm behind
Oh,
Wendy Forsyth, who is an amazing leader and our CMO. And we're coaching other C-suite to have these powerful personal brands, right? Because people align with people. People want to be with great leadership, and if you show that you're a great leader in your thought and you're a thought leader, then people are just like, yes, I need that daily inspiration, or I need, whatever tips that person is doing. So here's how I can shift the energy of why you're not showing up on video, because this worked for me, and I do the thing before I tell anybody else to do the thing, right?
uh-huh.
We're like, how do I make this viral video? How do I make this? Well, if you're nervous about showing up on social media, it's because you're getting validation from people, and that you're already messed up.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a bad energy, because in the sense where you're already thinking, oh, I need to be validated by my peers. Am I going to say the right thing? Am I going to do the right thing? Okay, drop that. Now just say, how can I come from service?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Like, if my one shitty video can
Yes.
help one person, it
Yes.
doesn't have to reach millions. Okay. I
Yes.
can just shift the mindset of one person today, or I can just help one home buyer today, or I can just help a seller not make a mistake today.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
if you just think of that one life that you can impact with one video, you will take the pressure off from your ego and
Yes.
into that service mode, right? So I even challenge myself for 90 days. If you go to my Instagram,
Uh-huh.
my handle is there. If you go to my Instagram, I have started posting content where I'm like, what can I teach more realtors? What can I teach entrepreneurs? What can I teach families? Because I am a mom of 2 kids, and I'm over here surviving, and I have some really good tips. Okay. Not everybody cares about real estate all the time.
Exactly.
Nobody cares about marketing all the time. Like, we're human beings, right?
Yes. Girl, it sounds like you were at Winners Wednesday Productivity Bootcamp yesterday. I literally had a realtor raise his hand and say, there's so many times I want to do a video, but then I stop myself because I say, what are people going to think about this video? And I said to them, if you are doing social media thinking about yourself, you are missing the point. This is for your audience. And you're talking about, what can I teach? What can I bring of value? What buyer or seller can I help? Let's add on to that. If you're a single mom, how can I encourage a single mom? If you are a parent, how can I, be more relatable to the working parents, which are millions and gazillions on the planet, right? Of my day to day, of taking my kids here or there. If you're struggling, listen, that's why I love Agents in the Trenches, because it's the real raw realities. Like, here, we want to bring the good, the bad, the ugly. It doesn't matter, because life is not perfect. So
Absolutely.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, I give a tip on how to not get or how to, when you go to Publix and you buy this little cup of chicken. The Publix is big here on this
Popcorn.
region.
Popcorn chicken?
Yeah, it's a popcorn chicken. They charge you almost 650 for it, and if you go and get it weighed, it's like half the price. They're just charging you for convenience. It's something so silly. And I was somewhere yesterday who someone came up to me and said, I go weigh my kids' popcorn chicken now because of you.
See?
It's so silly, right? But we think it's just a little moment in time. And, people are always giving you great feedback. So I have another friend who I reconnected with, and shout out to Rayanne. And she's like, girl, I have ADD. Your videos are great. But I'm like, she's still talking, like she was so honest about that. And I'm like, that is so important that we ramble. And
Right.
we should not be rambling. Get to the point on every single video. Don't give a lot of whole backstory. Just get to the juicy, inspirational or informational or entertainment.
Entertaining. Yes.
Yeah.
We have another question here. What's the biggest branding mistake that is costing people like real money and deals? What would you say is the biggest branding mistake? Maybe something they're doing or maybe not doing.
Yeah. So I'm a big fan of Donald Miller's Story Brand. And Donald Miller's Story Brand is a great book, by the way. Or you could ask ChatGPT to give you a summary of that. And basically, the biggest mistake is you confuse, you lose, right? It's like if your brand is like watching a Netflix show that in the first 5 minutes of watching it, you don't know who the main character is, you don't know who the guide is, what's the problem. Like, you've always watched those and you're like tuned out, you're on your phone. And then you watch the really good movies and you're like hooked from the start. So if you could think of your brand as the fact that you're always the guide, okay? You never position yourself as the hero. And in real estate, we make this mistake the most. Realtors want to be the hero.
Mm-hmm.
And it is all ego. It is like just listed photos and just sold with your big picture on it.
The key. That's
Yeah.
what
You're not the hero. You're not the hero. You were never the hero. You were the amazing, knowledgeable guide that got that person that you're serving from their hero's journey of zero to hero. The buyer, the seller who didn't make any mistakes and lost money, the buyer who got their dream home with the smallest amount of resources that you made it happen for. Those are the stories you need to tell. So I feel like a lot of people make that mistake and just showing up as the hero, and no one cares. People are tuned out to your brand. So you need to reshift that focus very quickly.
Oh my goodness. We are having a deep dive conversation with Jenny Berger, the Director of Strategic Marketing, the queen of branding and image. We're going to give a quick shout out to one of our strategic partners, Red Zone Insurance. And we'll be back in 30 seconds, guys. Don't move. Share this.
Red Zone Insurance. Dándote el poder de crecer. Red Zone Insurance. RedZoneInsurance.com.
Red Zone Insurance tiene increíbles oportunidades de franquicias y queremos compartirlas contigo. Llama al 305-255-1901 y conocerás el camino a emprender tu propio negocio, tu propia franquicia. 305-255-1901.
Red Zone Insurance. RedZoneInsurance.com.
Wow, guys, keep sharing this live. This is so powerful. If you're watching live, give us a hashtag live. And if you're watching on replay, give us a hashtag replay. And I want everybody to go follow Jenny B because she's amazing. I watch your stories. I love how you do them. And I can tell, you just said something very powerful. Even though you enjoy or your most empowered position, let's just say, right, is behind the scenes, I notice you have found a way to do your stories and still be behind the scenes because I see you walking and talking and showing, right? But you still do it. Why are people so afraid to just do it?
I don't think everyone's just afraid. I think that some people also want to feel empowered to have privacy because we live in such a social world. And there's a great book right now called The Anxious Generation, and it talks about how Gen Z is officially was raised on nothing but technology. Like we had a childhood and it was not with technology, right? I'm an elder millennial. I'm turning 40 this year, but I had a full-on childhood with zero tech. And then now we're addicted to our phones because let's be real, we are. But
Yeah.
like our self-worth and our like psyche didn't develop on that. And the Gen Zers are feeling so anxious because they are seeking that validation and the likes and that
Mm,
my video didn't do well. And, like we don't have that. We're like, whatever, no one saw it, no one saw it. Like, I'll try better next time, like it doesn't determine. And I do think mental health is at its like all-time peak. So I know a lot of people who are like, I get off of social media, I need a detox, like so I do think some people protect their privacy and their family. But if you're trying to build a business, then you have to find a creative way to display some personal aspects. It doesn't have to be a whole lot, but just enough that people know that you're a human.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's break it down real quick. I want to launch my brand, right? How do I even know where to begin? How do I even know what my brand should be? And how do I even find that?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So here's a good analogy that I love. Seth Godin, he is a marketing goat, and he talked about how people get confused with marketing and brand, right? Brand and marketing are two completely different things. And one of the things that he said that helped me think of it clearer is if the Nike brand opened up a hotel. I need you to close your eyes, Lucy.
Okay.
Okay. The Nike brand opens up a hotel. Can you imagine it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Describe it a little. It's very clean.
So it's very, classy, elegant, really tall, a lot of windows, and a swoosh somewhere.
And sleek and sexy, and it's got orange. Like
Yeah.
I could imagine the lobby and all that, right? Okay, now we're gonna flip it. Like if the Hyatt or the Marriott launched a shoe,
Oh,
can you imagine it?
if the Hyatt, oh my goodness.
No, you
No.
don't even know if it's a high heel. Is it a sneaker? Is it like, I don't know,
My brain went to a box. I was like in a box, right? Okay.
So that explains to you the difference between brand and marketing, right? Like the Hyatt and all that, those are just like a franchise, it's recognizable, but not enough where you have this clear as day picture.
Right.
Nike's brand, what it makes you feel, right? It's different. So if you want to like have a great brand, you have to focus on how you're going to carry that vibe through the essentials of who you are, your mission, your vision, and everything that you want to instill in your business. How do we bring that forward in a business world, right? One thing is to have the identity of it, because the identity is important. But Nike has also been great about just teaching us, like, just do it, and like empowering. Like, it's just a different thing than just like a chain of hotels that all look the same.
Right. Exactly.
And
Wow.
that could happen in real estate, right? Where everybody starts looking the same, everybody's trying so hard to stand out. But we do have to tap into that brand identity and the brand mission and vision. That's why it's so important to pair it with your personal brand so that it stands out.
Oh my goodness. And so what would you recommend, right? So let's use me. Okay, so all right, Jenny, I want to develop my brand, but I'm in real estate, right? So
Well,
where would I begin?
Well, first of all, let's give you some credit because you have done an amazing job at building a brand. You are so consistent. Just look at the brand identity around this call, and like you've carried your brand colors through and through. When I think of you, I think this international real estate mogul who's borderless, right?
Mm.
And who's growth minded. And I think you've done a great job because you get on camera, you talk about it, you be about it, you make fun content, timely. I think you're doing the best that you can, and I give you credit 100%. So I think you're already doing all the things, and just keep on doing that.
Okay, and then what's the difference between a brand and an image, right? So because you hear, okay, develop your image. Is that
Mhm.
the same as the brand? Or is one the logo and the other one what people think of the logo, or the message, the subliminal message that comes across when you
Mhm.
see the logo?
Yeah. So, okay, when I usually start working with someone, the first thing that we do is we have a lifestyle session, and we try to break out of that headshot, like stuffy, like white backdrop, cross
Passport
arm.
picture, yeah, that passport picture.
Yes, yes, yes. And we try to break from that. And we're still polished, right? And we're still like bringing out the best version of ourselves. But we're like reading our favorite book on the couch, and we are like in a vibrant location, like something that has to do with the type of personality that you have.
Mm-hmm.
Still polished, but it's like maybe in a sweatshirt with your logo on it. Like it's just a little bit more relaxed and a little bit more adding that human touch to it. Veronica, that was her strong suit, right? Every 3 months, we were doing shoots.
Yes.
So like people miss the opportunity to really get in touch with themselves and say like, yeah, what do I want to look like and feel like to my people, in my space, in my office. Like show me, take me in the behind the scenes of your world with some beautiful quality pictures that are not cell phone pictures. So I think that's always step number one, because those pictures are going to help tell the next iteration of the story,
Mm-hmm.
like your mission, your vision. It just helps you get that clarity.
Mm-hmm. Well, I want the people that are watching us live to ask us questions. Let me see if we have any other questions here. So bring us to fast forward. You went from doing this for one person, right? Listen, guys, go follow Jenny, because her creativity, like I didn't show up. I did not show up when they gave out the creativity gene. I showed up, I mean, multiple times when they gave out the gene for where there's a will, there's a way. You just got to push yourself, and some way, somehow you're going to make it, right? That gene I like doubled up on, but the creativity is like, but you're so creative. Like I
Thank
remember going to Orlando for one of the events there, and you had used a cricket machine. I'm like, what is a cricket machine? You remember? And there was like this hand sanitizer, and it had this little label on it, and you were like, yeah, use a cricket machine. You know where I strive is where I just come back and I duplicate. Like, okay, that's what they did. So I'm gonna find a cricket machine. And I literally found someone that had a cricket machine, and then I went and did my own little hand sanitizer with my LQ, because obviously, for me, it's the LQ, right? The LQ,
Mhm.
just to make it easy. But I love your creativity.
Thank you. I definitely got handed the creativity gene. My mom's very creative as well, but
Okay.
I think just I'm very extra. So I'm already very extra. And then I have now all the tools like a Cricut machine to cut me vinyl. Like that is so
Mhm.
cool. I'm going to put your brand everywhere. I'm going to be as extra as possible. But no, with Canva, with Photoshop, with all these tools that we have, and now with AI, are you kidding me?
Yes.
There's no reason why anyone shouldn't be like, hey, ChatGPT, I have zero creativity, but this is what my thoughts are. Can you help me like maybe see what this looks like, right? So
Love
I
it.
think leverage AI, because you are creative deep down. You just probably like don't have the time to adjust to all the tools that are out there.
Hmm.
But that is actually very important, that we do have all these moments to have that special touch. Like you remember something that was printed on somewhere, right? Like, and Veronica would love that about me, because she's like, you're a freaking unicorn. Like I'd come and I'd wrap water bottles with a really cute saying about us, and how, like our logo, and like how we want you to know that we're so grateful, right? Like we're gratitude based company. Like, and it's something so silly, but that water bottle is in someone's hand who's there, who's experiencing your brand. Like, why
Hmm.
not maximize every moment?
Yes. And I also have to give you credit for teaching me Trello. You know, they say it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it takes a whole community of people to help a business person evolve. And
Yes.
I gotta give you credit because I remember when Talia and I jumped on a Zoom call with you, and you're like, "Oh, I got a template for events, and I got a template for this, and I got a template for the VAs," and I'm like, "Oh my goodness." That really helped us.
I have to make those available to the world because they really are helpful. You became a full adopter, like is that what you guys use?
Yes, yes.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. That Trello is my love language because if what good is it to have these amazing brands and creative and be this and be a visionary if we're not implementing and executing?
Mhm.
Right. And if Trello could be that one tool that helps someone today to go on there, empowers their whole team to get on one dashboard and execute so many amazing projects, like that's what the impact you're supposed to make on the world is, for you to execute and take action. So I'm so glad that you did that.
So I've got some of my crew here, and now they know why I say you need to learn Trello. And it's funny because I say, stop writing it on a paper, just put it on Trello.
Yes, yes,
Because by
yes,
the time you put it on the paper, then you forget to put it on Trello, then it never gets done.
yes.
Where do you see this branding, world going?
Mhm.
If you had to give us a prediction, right? Because there's people watching this that are, in real estate, in business, maybe even people that are creative, maybe even future Jenny Bergers that have, I'm creative. Maybe I need to go on AI and ask it to help me unleash my creativity. Maybe there's a Jenny Berger out there that's going to come and work with me. Like, God knows I need one, right? Where do you see us going?
Okay, so I guess the biggest challenge that I'm seeing is that now everyone's a perfect marketer because of AI, right? You can go to AI and say, help me write the best campaign in the world for this niche, for this specific thing. Like, you could be so specific, and AI is just magical, and it's going to give you all the things. And if you're just good at having it executed, now everyone's a perfect marketer. So, or people can go and just be resourceful for themselves, and then like, why do I need a realtor? Why do I need that? I could just go do this, I could do that. So I think that the most challenging time right now, and this ties all back to our social media strategy, is that you have to share your knowledge and your heart with the world, because everything out there is now generated. I think YouTube just announced yesterday that they're not going to be paying any AI generated content that's not original, because people are creating faceless channels where they're just bringing value based content, but it's not a real voiceover. It's AI voiceover. It's AI images. It's AI. There's no more research. There's no more craft, right? Everything's being done for us. So we have to remind our ideal customers that we are still the experts, that we still are heart, soul driven leaders that can help them find solutions to their problems. And the only way to do that is by showing up on your social media and reminding everybody, unfortunately, over and over and over and over and over.
Over and over and over, yes.
And
How many times have you done the let me reintroduce myself? Because I've never done it. Because, of course, my brain gets in the way. Oh my God, you're going to reintroduce yourself like nobody knows you. But I'm like, yeah, because maybe they forgot what I do, or maybe they don't know what I'm doing now, or
Yeah, I hadn't done that for myself, and I'm like, so much has changed in my life in the last 6 months. Let me go and reintroduce myself. I even have family and friends who are like, "What do you do again?" Like, and that's Veronica's fault, because they were like, "I see you over here, I see you over there. Like, I don't know what you do." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, you have no idea that I really do like this marketing and branding." So I strongly encourage people to do let me reintroduce myself and get clarity. When you're writing that post, you're going to get clarity on who you have become anyway in the last 3 to 6 months, because we should be changing what we do and who we are every freaking week.
Yeah. He's scaling every week. Today I had someone ask me a question. I went to a meeting and they were like, "Lucy, what are you doing now that you love the most?" And I said, Winners Wednesday Productivity Bootcamp, because that is my space and place where I can solve people's real estate and business problems. And it's a room filled with energy, and I get reignited every week. Like I'm literally, as I'm teaching, I'm really learning twice as much, right? And my ladies' tea talk time, which is my women's marketplace gathering and encounter to help women rise up, right? Because it's not easy,
It's not.
rising up, some, and so those are my two, like, those are my breathing spaces. Those are the places where, like, I am in my bliss. I could be there, but when I'm done, girl, I am like, ah, out
So
of gas.
that's what lights you up, and you need to make them. You already made them into a series, right?
Yes,
And keep adding that to your content fire, you
yes.
know? If you think of your content as like a big fireplace or like a fire pit,
Hmm.
think of all the things we have to throw in there to keep it ignited, right? It's not like we just go all in on this one strategy and let it go.
Right.
We have to have like the long format videos, the little reels, the little posts. Those are like the twigs and the wood logs and all the things we have to keep throwing in the fire just to keep it like always at a nice, flame, because we don't want to do all that work and let it go to waste. So
Yes.
yes, keep doing what you're doing.
I want to respect your time. What would be the three most important things you would tell anyone that's watching this now or later? Like your three most important, wise counsel that you could give them.
Okay, so I think the most important thing that I will share, I'm going to leave you with a pro tip for something that happened in Instagram and Google today. So remind me to end with that. But the biggest thing is, if you're going to go all in on your social media and you're going to get out of your way, which is step number one, get out of your own way, add value to people's lives. That's going to shift the whole vibration of the content that you're going to grow with. If you now have a call to action on every single video, because that's another thing, you're not creating content just to create content. Okay. And that's where you could get better, Lucy, and all of us can get better, because it's a new way of doing things, right?
Uh-huh.
So you're going to have a Stan store, and you're going to use my link to sign up for Stan. You're going to get a free trial. And Stan Store, think of it as like your link in bio, your link tree on steroids.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
So every bit of content that you make, you can go to Gamma or ChatGPT and say, okay, I just made a video for sellers and it's about these mistakes that they're making, right? So now you get that prompt and you're going to go make a quick PDF on Gamma. And Gamma is AI, but it makes a PDF for you or social carousels like in one click. So it's even better than Canva.
Okay.
And you're going to go download that PDF, add your information at the end, and you're going to go tell people in that video. And this is why Stanstore is so great, because it replaces ManyChat, Kajabi, Calendly. It's all of the things in one place. So I swear by Stanstore. And I'll share my link to my Stanstore too.
Okay.
But if you tell everybody in that video at the end, comment this, and you're going to get that, like you're going to take something away from free that I'm going to give you. Now it's not just like this weightless video. It's like, I'm going to give you value, and you're going to take this PDF that's going to like be life-changing, right?
Uh-huh.
So it has auto DM in the background that triggers that response, and all those people have to become part of your subscription now. So it's your funnel to be in business with you, and just in relationship with you, not even in business, just to be like, hey, I'm going to give you this for free, and I'm going to give value. If I challenge everyone to do it for 90 days, every video comes with some kind of valuable ad, and not trick them, but get them into going to your Stan Store so that they can download that PDF. So post with intention. Your content should have a strategy behind it. And the third thing that is important as of today is that all those videos you're creating are going to be found on Google. So when anybody goes to search on Google for someone in South Florida, specifically to that town, that area, like go be so descriptive in your description, in your caption.
Uh-huh.
Check into the location that you're talking about.
Okay.
There's a little the setting on your post to make sure that all those keywords are being found by Google now. So when someone says, I'm looking for a property in, Cape Coral or wherever, you're gonna come out in the Google research search feed. You're gonna come out in the Google results.
Oh, wow.
From your Instagram post. So that's just gonna turbocharge everything now for lead purposes. But imagine they land on that video and there's no way for them to comment something or have a call to action.
Okay.
Hopefully they can DM you and they're interested enough. But like I'm telling you, those videos need to be lead generating machines that are working in your sleep.
Okay, so call to action on every post you make. The link to your stand store is what it's called?
Yep.
Okay, and then in your stand store, that's where you're gonna put it doesn't matter. Like we're doing Agents in the Trenches. For example, I put together a 30-day content calendar and I gave it away to everyone at Winners Wednesday. But this morning, I was like, so why am I only giving it away to people at Winners Wednesday? I need to give it away to everybody.
Thank you. That needs to be on your stand store. It's the first thing that people get, and they're going to opt into all of your newsletter and everything. And you can email people from there too. So it's really cool. It's like a all-stop, one-stop shop. So everything's going to have a call to action. You're absolutely right. That's your first downloadable there on your stand store.
Yes.
And I'm happy to help you.
And then the new thing with Instagram is that now we're going to be found
on
Google because of what we put on Instagram.
Yes. So think about that. Like think even deeper strategy. If you're making a video on Instagram, you should be making something that people are going to Google for.
Okay.
So think of all of your content to be shareable and searchable. Like what would somebody be going on Google for that I can make a video about that is going to serve me and serve them, right?
Wow.
So change all that strategy of just shooting from the hip to being like, is it something that people are going to search for?
Mm-hmm.
And is it something that people are going to share? So a lot of carousels are doing very well right now. Let me tell you why. Have you ever scrolled through Instagram and the first picture and you're like, okay, I don't really care about that carousel. So you keep going.
Uh-huh.
You get out of the app, you go work, you come back and it shows you that carousel on page 2 now. And it's like a different picture of the same piece of content.
Uh-huh.
So this is why you should be posting carousels, because they are giving you a 50% chance of returning on someone's feed by going onto the second picture and showing it again.
Wow.
So I'm telling you, Lucy, like every thought that you've had on giving value, you could go to Wendy Forsythe's Instagram as well. She gives a lot of value to all the EXP agents and ideas and prompts and this and that. That's all coming from that service-based content.
Okay.
And make it into a carousel. So Gamma is a great tool for that. You would just put one idea and it's going to give you 7 different carousels with information.
And Gamma is kind of like an application that works with AI, or it's another type of ChatGPT?
No, it's its own thing, and it does PDFs that are presentations or carousels or a document like an actual document that you need to send to somebody. And you could do one prompt, or you could bring in a whole prompt from ChatGPT and say, these are 7 ways that sellers are making mistakes now. Or you don't even have to do that from ChatGPT. You could just use Gamma by itself and say, give me 7 mistakes that sellers make.
Wow.
And it's going to generate a whole design. It brings in images. It brings in carousels. It brings in everything. It's amazing.
Wow.
There's no excuse not to be bringing value on social media.
And you know what? And I think that the biggest hurdle or challenge is the mental blocks, right? Because this is obviously a new language.
Mm-hmm.
We have entered the era of speaking a new language in business. We're not doing business the way we used to.
No.
Business is no longer done the way it used to be done. And now everyone needs to learn a new language. I don't care how much gazillions of dollars you've made in the past. Everybody's needing to step up to a new era of, you know, how do people find you? How do people know you? How do people like you so they can trust you, so they can reach out to you?
Correct.
Well, guys, light up the chat. Tell me this has not been like full fire. And I was so happy when I saw you accept the invitation. And this cannot be the last time. You got to come back soon.
Thank you. Thank you. I think if you could go to my stand store, if you go to jennyonbrand.com.
Okay.
jennyonbrand.com.
Okay.
And you could take a look at my stand store, and I'm not selling anything. I'm just giving it all away for free and see, and I've had incredible growth in my own Instagram just by testing this strategy out.
Wow.
People are just coming out of the woodwork and following me because they're like, what's in it for me, right? They're like, what's in it for me for following this person? So when someone comes to your Instagram, I want them to say right off the bat, there's something in here for me to follow Lucy. I'm not here to get marketed to. I don't want to see, flyers. I want to see something that I'm going to gain,
Wow. Well, listen, I already have had a vision of bringing you through live stream to Winners Wednesday Productivity Bootcamp at the Academy, because we all need to learn this. And I'm the first one. I need to be the first student, because this is the real deal. This is what's going on, and we cannot be left behind. Like, we cannot be, at the bottom of the totem pole. So I am so happy that you shared all of this. So everybody go follow Jenny. I'll be reaching out, girl. I need all the help I can get. I need everything you have, right? So thank you.
I'm here for you. I'm here for you. Thank you, my love.
Okay.
You keep on doing what you're doing and impacting lives.
Amen. Talk to you later, girl.
Bye.
Alrighty. Guys, it is until next time here at Agents in the Trenches. Tell me this was not amazing. And again, my heart is full. It's overflowing with gratitude to have seen the Jenny Berger, the queen of branding and marketing and creativity, joining us here today. So I'll see you next time, guys. Make it an awesome day.